All right, everybody, Bitcoin halving happened. Woo! It's time to mint and buy some runes, which after the first block of the Bitcoin halving became a thing. It's a new protocol that allows meme coins on Bitcoin. We've been talking about it on this channel over and over again. Well, now you can finally do it, and we know exactly how to do it. In this video, I'm going to show you the easiest possible way to mint and buy runes. I have to warn you, this is extremely risky. It's very expensive. There's probably other ways to do your risk adverse on assets in the crypto field. But with all that being said, you're here. You probably clicked on this video for a reason, so you might want to know how to get in on those juicy runes. I'm going to show you the easiest possible way in this video. So without further ado, let's dive in. So my recent videos have been a lot longer. I think the last one was 14 minutes. I'm going to keep this one super short to the point. It's almost midnight my time, but I got to get this out for you guys so that while I'm sleeping, maybe you can be cooking. First and foremost, you got to download Xverse Wallet. It's one of the easiest possible wallets to use, has rune support. Go download Xverse Wallet. If you've never downloaded a DeFi wallet, go check out one of my other videos on that, or just work with ChatGPT. But you need a DeFi wallet first and foremost because we're early to the protocol. First and foremost, provenance matters, and the first 10 were heavy hitters with, of course, Uncommon Goods, which is KC Rod Armors. You can just kind of see the list. I won't read them all out. I talked about Dog to the Moon on this channel. This is the Runestone token. I talked about Cyberkongs, which is decentralized, I believe. And I talked about quite a few of these. We talked about the RSIC and many others. So some of these are already minted out and the other ones are going to be allocated to their holders. But in this video, we're not talking about any specific tokens. We're going to be talking about how to mint, buy, and sell runes. So we're going to go over to Luminex. So I actually just got this computer. I'm way too tired to download Xverse Wallet. I've been doing it all on my other computer. So I'm not going to show you exactly as it's logged in, but literally just go to Luminex. There's a big button on there right when you get there. It's luminex.io. Hit mint runes. From here, again, we're not talking about specific tickers. We're just going to talk about, like, you know, how to do it. Literally go find whichever one you want. You can go look at, we have Satoshi Nakamoto at the top. You have all these tickers. If you want to search for a certain one, we could probably type in any letter. Let's go with HI. You can see all these things. Let's do dog. I know there's a ton of dog. Elon loves Doge. Sweet doggo rune, whatever. So say you want to mint something. It's literally as simple as clicking on it. Whoops, actually clicked on it too much. You hit the mint button. It shows you how much are minted. So there's 19,000 mints pending on this one I'm looking at. Will probably be sold out tomorrow by the time I wake up in the morning. And also, this isn't like, here, I'll drop alpha pieces in this, by the way. So because I've been minting for the past few hours. And so some of the things I picked up on. One of the things is this is a little slower than running your own node, having your own org client, and kind of being able to see the transactions as they're happening. So where this says 38%, if it was like really competitive, you might see something at like 70, or you might see something at 38% that might actually be at like 80%. And the problem is, and I'm going to get into this in a minute, that gas fees are so high right now. You could literally lose hundreds of dollars just paying the gas to mint these things and not get that back because you get front run. So keep that in mind with some of this. So how many do you want to mint? You can do 1, you can do 2, however many you want. It's going to show you down here the mint. Now, as you see down here, it says please log in. Again, what I told you earlier, I don't have Xverse on this computer, but you're going to get the point. So this is a big deal. I haven't seen this explained hardly on like anybody's like channels, threads, or anything. I think Callie did a pretty good job at this, but when it comes to pre-split or auto split is pretty important. So this is UTXOs, and long story short, Luminex also allows you to split your UTXOs ahead of time. View it as basically splitting a $100 bill into smaller bills. If you've already done this and you're familiar with splitting UTXOs, you can go with pre-split. The advantage of pre-split is it gets your transaction through faster. So as I said earlier, if something's 70% minted out, you send your transaction in, it takes a really long time, you know, because it's on Bitcoin. Then if you go with auto split or you don't have these pre-split, your transaction can be lost. So if it's pre-split, that will give you a major advantage. Auto split, and again, this is to the best of my knowledge as far as this goes. Please take everything with a grain of salt. Be super careful with all of this, and of course, like re-verify with any sources you have possible. auto split, because the way they worded this is kind of weird to me. Auto split is essentially, it splits the UTXOs for you. It goes across, it could go across 2 blocks, so it's a little bit slower, but you don't have to split your UTXOs ahead of time, which is its own gas transaction. Although I would recommend splitting the UTXOs, especially because it's like very competitive. I know this sounds really confusing. I just want to say this. If you want to go for the more automated part of all this, you don't want to think about it, and you want to find something that's like barely minted, probably just want to stick with auto split. Find a ticker that's not super hype, you know, that's not running out. Go to auto split, and then you choose your fee. Your fees, in my opinion, you might as well go with the higher fees because it is competitive, but it really just depends on your strategy. You can even customize these. If you kind of want to estimate the fees, if you use Xverse, it's automatically going to estimate it for you. So you don't need to do this, but if you wanted to estimate your fees, you just go to the mempool in Bitcoin Explorer, and it will actually show you an estimate of the fees, whether based on high, medium, or low, around how much it's going to cost you. So just to give you an idea how congested this is, and this is actually way lower than it was earlier when I was minting. It was up to like $3,000 per VByte. You know, if we do high priority, it's $100. Middle priority 94, and then low priority 78. Again, to me, you might as well gas that thing up if it's competitive, because if it's just like a $10, $15, $20 difference and you're able to mint these things opposed to go after them on secondary, it's probably, you know, worth just paying a little bit of extra gas. I think that's it around minting them. And you can also do the same thing if you wanted to like make your own ticker. It's called etching, like if you want to have your own rune. And then you hit mint, and it shows you the transaction, and just remember it's Bitcoin, so it's going to take a while. But let's talk about like when you actually, maybe you don't want to go through any of this, you just want to buy them on secondary, or you just want to sell them on secondary. Let's look at that. So this is Unisat. This was a lifesaver when it comes to being able to buy, sell, and trade runes. And also with this, it's actually a lot better right now. The time you're seeing this video, it was having troubles when I was trying to do this earlier. So this might seem self-explanatory, but it's kind of not. So at the top where you have your wallet, inscribe, blah, blah, blah. And you could do this using your Xverse wallet as well. Unisat does have their own wallet. You go to Marketplace and you hit runes. By the way, if you've already minted something, I'm going to show you how to find it too. It should show in your Xverse, but if it doesn't, this will show you. And then boom, right here you have the ticker is Elsa. That's one of the ones that popped off tonight. Already worth like $1,600. People that minted these, I don't know exactly what it was, but it's probably like $300-$400 to mint the packet. So they're already up a solid 4x minimum. This was one of the better ones that I've seen in the last few hours. But you can just click this right here and you could find whichever ones. Like we just looked at Satoshi Nakamoto. That was the one that I gave an example on, and you can kind of see that. So when you go, if you want to sell this, all you have to do, well, first off, you want to buy it, just find like the pack that you want to buy. So basically you're buying 100 tokens at $1.28 a piece for $127 total, which would be a lot cheaper. Or if you want to sell it, you hit my assets. It's going to connect the wallet, and it's going to show you the runes that you have in your wallet, and you can list it like that in order to sell it, just like you see here. I also see these little on OKX as well. I'm not too sure how that end works. This is just so far the Unisat's worked really well for me. Another thing to factor in that I didn't say earlier that I want to go back to on Luminex is just there's a couple of things to look for on these, and it's really important. So here's a couple of things. We already see the pending. There's 20,000 pending on the Satoshi Nakamoto. So if there's a lot of those pending, it might be competitive. You might not get in. Another one is pre-mined. So pre-mined is essentially they've already mined that percentage of the supply. They've already minted that percentage of the supply, which could be a red flag, you know, for them to sell on you. Like it's kind of equivalent to the dev holding an allocation of tokens for themselves so that they can sell that for their allocation, but it also leads to a lot of bad actors in the space. So definitely keep that in mind, like how many of these are pre-mined, and unless they're giving to their own holders, because that would make sense if they're like distributing it that way. But if you're just trying to find random tickers and the pre-mines are like really high, definitely something to look out for. I think the golden so far I've found is around 5%. I like anything 5% pre-mine. It's completely okay to hold a little bit back. Again, this one's 90, but this one, I mean, that's runic. It's probably going to be distributed to the holders. Last important note that I'll have is you do probably want to determine like what the market cap has to be for your break-even point, because if the tokenomics are screwed and you know they're poorly designed, something might need like $100 million market cap in order for you to even break even after the minting fees. So definitely something to consider when looking at any of these things. Again, just use this video as a how to mint, buy, and sell. Be extremely careful. Find your own communities, your own alpha as far as what you're minting, buying, and selling, the fees you're willing to risk, and just know this is highly, highly speculative. It can absolutely go to zero. You can lose a lot of money. You probably will lose a lot of money if you're not experienced. But just like all the content I ever put out on my channel, I just want to leave it as a fair playing ground for everyone on YouTube and everyone on Twitter, just to have a fair chance at this type of information. Even though it might be straightforward to some, it's not to others. And now you have one more step in the right direction to figuring out your path with all this. With all that being said, happy Bitcoin halving. It's going to be a great 2024. Thanks everybody for rocking with me for this long.